I guess I'll
So,
go
John,
next.
back to your
Back
Dak
to
Prescott.
Back to
man.
Dak.
Since we're here, back
Back
to
to
Dak.
Dak. It just makes it worse when you say you can't afford the best running back in football for under $10 million, but you could dish out $60 a year.
Really quick, though, with the Cowboys, and this is why, yeah, it's to Dak to an extent, but they just mismanaged the whole contract situation. Look at their averages real quick. Dak makes 60. CD makes 34. Diggs is making damn near 20. Terrence Steele is 16. DeMarcus Lawrence at 13. Brandon Cooks is averaging 19 mil. I mean,
Brandon Cooks.
When you look at those,
That's
that's why you have a running back. It's not because
and who can they not pay all of a sudden that might walk?
Micah.
Mike.
Cinco Squad in the house. We're back at it. Episode 139 in the building again. My boy Mike, my guy Grandpa Jay. We're back at it again. Unfortunately, as y'all can see, John is not with us again. The word on the street is he's been out with that guy Connor Stallions. Now I heard it was a good Black Friday sale. They were out buying recording cameras and things like that. But the thing is, it doesn't fucking matter because my Buckeyes are gonna kick that ass this week, and that's why John didn't come to the show. I got my helmet. I got baby Zeke with me. That's why John didn't come. He already knew it was coming. If he was real man about it, he would have showed up to today's show. So, anyways, guys.
Wait.
How are y'all feeling?
Your boy is back and with my victory cigar, baby. Because you know we're going to defeat the Buckeyes 3 straight years. Or 4 straight years. 4 straight years.
He's
Get the fuck out.
Pull up a chair.
It ain't no cameras this year, so I'm not really concerned. And apparently, you left Connor hanging, so you're not taking the cameras with him. I do got something though because
He's out. You know, putting up signs. You know, for the realtors, real estate agents.
Last year, I got a bit embarrassed here. We had to make a bet, and unfortunately, I lost the bet. Last year's bet, we had to shout out a player that we secretly respected for another team. Unfortunately, we lost because we had Kyle McCord sorry ass out there. Things are better now. Will Howard, we trust. This year, new bet. Let's do it. I'm proposing the loser has to write and read an apology letter to somebody from the other team's program. It can be a player, it can be a coach, it can be the mascot, it can be a player now, it can be the past. But some type of an apology letter, some type of I'm sorry for this. So, John, I mean, if you want to, go ahead, get ready, start doing your thinking. I mean, I don't know if you want to.
No, bro. You can start. It's all you. I'll help you write your letter because I know, like, I'm the journalist. I'm the journalist in the group, and I'll help you write it. I'll, edit it, and everything for you. Got you. Don't worry.
It sounds like you need to apologize to the khaki man, bro, after all that shit you was talking.
I ain't got to apologize to the khaki man. I'll be all right. Apologize to nobody. If you want to, Uncle Urban will send that letter off to the Fox Big Noon game.
We're down the street. Is Brady Quinn sitting there saying, how much would it take for Urban to go coach at Michigan? And he said, $10 million? He goes, more. I'm like, God damn, Urban. you ain't worth that right now. So maybe after Florida, but not now.
Bro, you just put out $10 million for a freshman who hasn't done nothing yet to prove himself. I think I got a 3-time national champion.
Right.
Oh, I gotta give it credit to Sharon. I mean, hey, I was surprised by that signing. It's a flip too. It's a flip signing. So yes, I am back here, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it going. It's Thanksgiving time. I had I partied way too hard with Melo and Cayenne. Where was I? I was with Juan Soto in New York. He kept me up all freaking night. We were partying. I don't even know where we were, in the Bronx somewhere. So
everybody's always thankful. I mean, shout out to everybody's families, friends, everybody. We're definitely thankful for that. This is a sports podcast. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the table. We're going to do a sports giving. So we're going to give a thank you to somebody, something, whatever way you want to take this for sports this year. I'm going to start off with my guy, Mike. I know you're thankful for Daniel Jones leaving. So we'll start off with your sports giving.
This year in sports, what I'm actually thankful for is these guys. I'm thankful for the New York Rangers. After the heartbreak that was the end of the Yankee season, after the Giants immediately decided to be the worst team in professional football. Obviously, there's always the knock on Notre Dame because they don't play in a conference and all that. UNC is good, but we'll see what happens. It's early in the year. I know for fact that the New York Rangers are one of the best teams in hockey. I am so happy with how they've started off the season. Some hiccups here and there. They might be making some improvements at the trade deadline, but After last season, I think they're hungry. I think they're ready. And this year, I'm expecting finally a Stanley Cup.
You know how I'm thankful for? Joe Shane and the New York Giants. Thank you, Joe Shane. I appreciate you. Come on, bring on Saquon. 1,300 yards, 302 total yards from scrimmage. Let's go to Saquon's Barkley. I love it. Let's get it. I love it. Saquon, welcome to Philadelphia. You're born Eagle, and you were always supposed to be an Eagle, not a Giant. So thank you, Joe Shane, Brian Dable, the entire Giants organization. I appreciate you guys so damn much for not appreciating him. I know that hurts, Mike. I know that hurts.
Fly, Pelican, fly. I'm going to shameless local plug. I want to thank my coaching staff for helping us make the dream come true. So thanks to Coach Tyler, Coach Kate, Coach Nick, Coach Nora, Coach Teresa, Coach Sharon. But to bring it back to the front where you guys know the big-time sports leagues, I'm thankful for our manager at Liverpool, new manager, Mr. Arne Slot, who has not just proven himself in the Premier League, but has proven himself in Europe. The guy has only managed to win 17 of his first 19 games. He did something Jurgen Klopp couldn't do. That's beat Real Madrid in a Champions League match. So, Arne Slot, damn, man, way to come out torching.
His name's Arne Slot?
He's a European.
Yes.
Arne Slut.
He's
all
a
right.
peon?
He's a slut.
He's a slut.
Yep.
He's a slut for football knowledge.
He does slut football.
Slut for them dubs.
All right, J-Mo.
Jameis?
All right, J-Mo.
Okay.
All right, Trey Day. What are you thankful for?
Okay, so I'm going to thank these 17 guys, and this is going to sound like a lot.
Jesus.
But these 17 guys have something in common. I'm going to thank them. So let's go here. We're going to be thankful for Harrison Barnes, Reggie Jackson, Jonas Valanciunas, Bobby Portis, Buddy Hield, Domantas Sabonis, George Niang, Miles Bridges, Mikal Bridges, my bad, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Obi Toppin, Paul Reed, Peyton Pritchard, Jalen Green, Austin Reeves, Chet Holmgren, Christian Braun, and Cason Wallace. Why am I going to thank all 17 of those guys? You know what? Because the NBA, we have a fucking problem. People like Joel Embiid, you all don't want to fucking play, back-to-backs and things like that. But you know what those 17 guys have in common? They played all 82 games last year. That's what those 17 guys got in common. So it is a possibility. See, people act like, hey, you can't do this anymore. It's too much. No, it's not. I just named 17 guys. And you know a fun fact there? Buddy Hield actually played at 84 because he got traded. So he actually played 84 games last year. So the whole point is, Joel Embiid, I can't get your ass on the court for a night back-to-back, let alone twice in a week. Those guys keep doing it, and that's why I'm going to thank those guys. Unfortunately, Chet won't be on that list this year because he's already been hurt, and some of these guys won't. But the point is, it is a possibility. That right there is a dream team. Speaking of dream teams, though, Jay brought up a good point. I thought this would be interesting. We all did as a group. The point Jay was saying is if we could sit here and take, let's say, a starting 5 NBA, starting 5 NHL, take it however you want. And we said we're going to basically make a Thanksgiving spread. So we're going to take guys, we're going to say this guy is the macaroni and cheese of this league or so on. And we're just going to go around the table there. I used to live with John years ago. He loves to eat. So I'm going to let John start this because I feel like he's going to have a good insight.
Yeah, I was just eating before I almost missed my intro into the show because I was eating. So, all right. So this was tough because I don't really, I got hungry halfway through my list and whatnot. So I was like, always forgetting. I was like, all right, turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, and then of course you got to finish off pumpkin pie, right? And then I forgot one other corn too. So for my turkey, it would have to be. I didn't write it down either, so I'm not prepared for this segment at all. But I guess it's any sport, right? Any sport, any person.
Yeah, any person. If you want to think, yeah, you can take. Well, we really say NHL or NBA, but you can take it where you want to go. Yeah, we kind of took. Well, I did.
Okay, I'll do NBA. I'll do NBA because I can do any player, right? I don't have to do specific teams, right?
No, it's anybody.
No, yeah, any player. Okay. Yeah, go wherever you want to.
As everyone can see, like I've been just partying way too much, so like I got the soda almost deal done. So breaking news, he'll be a Yankee here tomorrow, and whatnot. So we signed him to $2 billion over 47 years.
Oh, conservative. We got a deal.
For the NBA, I mean, the turkey is definitely got to be LeBron. So, I mean, he is just 41 now, I think it is. And he is playing at an unbelievable level. And he is a core of that team. And the reason why the Lakers are being as successful as they are, because if he doesn't go, the rest of the team is basically shot. I guess I got to say The ham would have to be Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is playing at an all-star type level, MVP type level that Mr. Trade brought up to us here a few weeks ago. And it's really, in my opinion, like, turkey and ham go together, in my opinion. So going off to mashed potatoes, I would have to say, oh, man, it's got to be Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has definitely just turned it up this year. I mean, he's just basically the key guy on the New York Knicks, and he's really just taken his game to another level. I didn't think he had one, but he's just basically going to another one. So going to the corn, I think of corn as like, all right, a little side dish, a little something to come off the bench. Dalton Knecht. I'm going Lakers. I know Trey's happy about this pick, but I'm going Dalton Knecht because he's coming off the bench and he's doing things that no one ever would expect. You never expect people to have a lot of corn for Thanksgiving dinner, but Dalton Knecht is getting his buckets. He's getting his playing time. He's earning that time. And then for the finisher in the pumpkin pie, I'm going to have to go with, oh, man, who is it? Oh, Jared McCain. Jared McCain for the 76ers is playing out of his mind. Yes, he does all the TikTok dances. Yes, he does all this type of stuff. But he is the flavor that brings everything together in that team and kind of keeps the team alive. So I got to say Jared McCain as the pumpkin pie. That just kind of sounds weird, but, it is what it is at this point.
Cheerio.
Very good choice.
Nice spread.
Who just said nice list on the fly?
Yeah.
Mikey?
Yeah, I hope it's not prepared.
Well, there's so many foods to choose from, honestly.
Well, everyone's different, too. Like, everyone doesn't have the same spread, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Mike,
go
what
next.
you got?
Yeah, I'll go next and allow me to consult my notes because I have specific reasoning for this. I took it to the NHL, and I actually did a starting 6 because you can't forget your goalie. So, I got Connor McDavid. He's my mashed potatoes because he's smooth and reliable. Always, mashed potatoes will always go good with anything you got in your spread, so it'll always perform. Austin Matthews is my turkey because he's heavy in production, but it doesn't help you keep going. Looking at you, Toronto Maple Leafs, and your inability to win a first-round series. Next, we got Brad Marchand. Now, he is the sweet potatoes, and that is because you either love them or you hate them. In my case, I'm sorry, Mom, I don't like sweet potatoes. My mom makes great sweet potatoes every Thanksgiving. I don't like them, so I never eat them, and I don't like Brad Marchand. Next up, we got Erik Karlsson. He's the stuffing, because everybody forgets how good it is. Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, he's the corn, because we all know how good it is, but it hits different in crunch time. When you're really looking for a good side dish, you got to go to the corn. And finally, for my 6, like I said, can't forget your goalie, and of course, I have to go to my goalie, Igor Shesterkin. He is apple pie, because sometimes it looks weird, but you can always count on it.
So,
creative there.
There was
Bubba agrees.
Bubba did not like that list at all.
Yeah,
What about
How the hell do you like stuffing over sweet potatoes? That is just nasty. Sweet
How's
potatoes
Big
are
Mom's food?
so much better.
Because stuffing has
Sweet mo, so much better. That is
stuffing has Italian
terrible.
That's
sausage.
not nasty, bro. Come on.
I hate stuffing.
No.
I hate stuffing. That is terrible.
It's bread and Italian sausage.
Not
So-
always.
Well, the way we make it. My family.
I'm minus the sausage here.
Well, of course,
I gotta
but-
stuff everything veggie style. So let's go back to the hardwood. We'll go to the NBA here, and I'm with John here, where I went a little bit of a different angle, but the thing that stands out on the table most is the centerpiece, right? It's the turkey. Well, in my case, it has to be the tofurkey, and that thing looks like a friggin' alien because you're like, what the hell is that thing? And that's LeBron James. What the hell is that thing? You see, amongst any basketball player, amongst any court, anywhere in the world, he is the beacon. He's the shining star. He's the alien. He's made us believe that he is not of this planet. All right? Then we go with our sweet potato casserole. And I was tempted to say Tyrese Halliburton because he got white little fluffy sweet things on top of them, and he's all about little white fluffy things. Anyway, but we're going with Jokic here because my man Jokic, all right, he brings the sweet to the game. All right, this guy's game is so silky sweet for his size. You see the way he moves, his vision. I love sweet potatoes. I can do without the marshmallows on top, and I love Jokic's game. Then we got Mr. Jaylen Brown. That's my stuffing. Why? Because he brings everything to the court. He can defend. He can defend any player. He can score anywhere, from outside, from inside. He can take the hole. He can dunk on anybody on the court. There's your all-purpose guy in the NBA. Then I got the guy, Mr. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. That's my mac and cheese. Why? Because he's the macaroni and cheese. Because Ant Edwards has that personality. Big, bright. Right? It's not like that mac and cheese looks, when you look at it on the table, it's like, man, that really stands out. It looks like sunshine on the table, just shining. You just want to put your face in it and eat it when it's so freaking good, especially when it has that crispy top. I don't even know that. Put cheese on top. It gets that crispy and brown on the top. Yeah. And finally, we got Steph. Now, I had to dig deep for this one because I said, you know what? This guy is so special. He's so different. Let's be different. I'm going to read off my notes. He is the fudgy chocolate brownie on top of graham cracker crust, topped off with homemade merengue. And here's the kicker. You have to use a kitchen torch to give its final touches because you kind of burn the merengue slightly. And I mean, what best describes the chef than to choose a dessert that you have to use a kitchen torch to finish off that final touch? Because all this man been doing is torching the damn NBA since he's been in the league. So that's my starting five. That's my spread. Take it or leave it.
You want to put your face in where? You lost me after that.
Vegan mac and cheese. Vegan mac and cheese. Bro, I love mac and cheese so much, I would eat it. Literally, I'll just put my face in the bowl and eat it. Vegan mac and cheese.
Of course.
Or Ant Edwards. Or Ant Edwards. So, whoever floats your
Yeah, I'd say after you put a whole
head. You referenced Jared McKean. So
yeah, he's sweet. He's sweet.
Trey, okay, all right. Trey, please put this back on the rails.
No, keep it off the rails.
It's really off the rails. I took a little bit different approach. Of course, I took this to the no, I'm just kidding. Absolutely not. I took this to the hardwood. But I took it from a different perspective. I used 4 Hall of Famers and 1 future Hall of Famer.
Nice.
Okay.
I did this more historical. Okay. Not gonna believe this? Yes, you are. We're gonna start off with the turkey. The turkey, Carl fucking Malone. When it's used right, it can really be good. But it's also very overrated. Turkey dries out after a while. You put it back in the fridge. You don't want to keep eating this. You're like, I'm sick of this turkey. Same thing with Carl. At first, like, this is great. He gets MVP. And then you're like, I'm rooting for fucking Carl Malone. I don't even like this guy. Is turkey in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, it is, because it's at every Thanksgiving. Do we have to necessarily love turkey? No, nobody really loves turkey. I'm sure some people in the comments are going to be like, yes, you do. No, y'all don't. Y'all don't really love turkey. Turkey's not like in the top 5 meats. Let's keep it real. Moving on. The potato salad. Current player. James Harden. Future Hall of Famer. James Harden. Just like a potato salad, it's solid. It's good. The problem is sometimes you get to certain potato salad and you say, who the hell made this potato salad? And then you start to say, where's the potato salad out? You know how many times the potato salad gets left on the refrigerator and people say, oh shit, we forgot the potato salad. You know how many playoff games I watched with James Harden? They're like, oh shit, James plays for this team. I forgot James Harden left in the potato salad. Moving on.
Oh shit, he's still in the league.
Exactly. Sometimes I feel like that when I watch that man in the playoffs. So moving on. The cornbread. Tim Duncan is solid. It's important. It goes good with everything. You're not asking to do too much. With the cornbread, you can blend it with anything. You can change up the style of paste. Same thing with Tim Duncan. I can go out there with space and pace. He works. I can put him in the 80s. It works. I put him in the 2000s. It works. But at the same time, the cornbread isn't asking for all attention. It's a star, but it's not a star that's needy. It's not a star that's begging for all the attention. But you're not going to go to anybody's table and have cornbread at Thanksgiving because the cornbread is a key, integral part of the team. Moving on, the mac and cheese. I'm going to go with my guy, Dr. Julius Erving. It's flashy. It's fun. Everybody fucks with Dr. J. It's dominant. It goes across every table. Dr. J dominated the NBA. He dominated the ABA. Women love him. Everybody loves mac and cheese. Who doesn't like Julius Erving? When you look at a commercial with mac and cheese, you just see that gooey cheese. You say, this looks fun. This looks great. It's the same when you watch Dr. J. Who watches a Dr. J dunk highlight and is like, turn this shit off. I don't want to watch it. No. Who sees some gooey mac and cheese like, I don't want to do this? You always have that when it comes to Dr. J with the mac and cheese. So, gotta go to our guy, Dr. J, on the mac and cheese. For dessert, we're gonna go with our sweet potato pie. I'm sure our guy Bubba, he loves sweet potato pie. That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
His ears perked up when you heard.
I bet they did. I bet they did. And who doesn't love sweet potato pie? So of course we're gonna go with my guy, Magic Johnson. Sweet potato pie is sweet. It makes you feel warm inside. You always want to have sweet potato pie at the table. Who the hell doesn't want to be around Magic Johnson? And when you see Magic Johnson, it just makes you instantly get happy. Like you're watching, he gets on TV, and you're like, man, something's good going on. You don't even got to open his mouth, but you know it's going to be warm and it's going to make you feel cuddly inside and it's going to cap off. But the good thing with sweet potato pie is good for the game. The game expands when you put sweet potato pie on the floor. So that's where I had to put my guy Magic Johnson in. Yes, there was a lot of thought put into this. Quarter 3 is back and in full effect. We outside. The NBA has a lot of young players who play tough and are out here hustling. Uno, shout out to the Terror Twins. That's Tari Easton, that's Amon Thompson. If you get a chance, check them out. Ime, he's doing his thing. He always does his thing. Hey, he got the best out of Tatum, he got the best out of Brown. The Rockets right now, they're out there balling. They're third in the West, and they're a big reason why we look at the Terror Twins. Not many teams have two dudes that can come off the bench and play like this. But that defensive tenacity, them guys are giving them guys hell. The team right now is second best in defensive rating in the entire league. Now, I think a lot of people won't know that unless you're really watching the league pass. But if you like tough defense, you like to see dudes who get after every minute they're in the game, those guys, definitely check them out. Dyson Daniel. Leading the league with 3 steals per game. Yeah, a lot of y'all ain't checking out, Dyson too much, but we got to shout that out. We got to give him some love there. I'm glad he got out of New Orleans. He got a real shot here. Getting the start now, actually averaging 14 points a game. He's what the Hawks needed. See, I remember when they got DeJounte Murray and everybody said him and Trey were going to be the combo, but hey, it didn't work out that great. But Dyson's doing what they wanted DeJounte Murray to do. He's taking some pressure off of Trey. He's defending people in the backcourt. Actually, the Hawks, they beat my Cavaliers today or yesterday, which is, it is what it is. But part of the reason why, because Dyson takes so much pressure off Trey, so now Trey can do what he does best, which is get other players involved and shoot the ball. Tress. The Wizards, they're terrible. Let's just be quite frank, guys. They're awful. But we do have to examine Alexander Shaw. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. Some thought he should have been number 1. He came out pretty slow at the gate, but he's really starting to pick it up. Specifically starting to get more rebounds. He's starting to look more comfortable in the paint. I know he's starting to take some more threes, and he does knock that down, but I want to see that big motherfucker get down in the paint and do what he does. 7-foot frame, he can add a little more weight. He'll do that in the offseason. But I'm liking to see his progression. This early, it's a lot of time for him still to grow. He's on a bad team, so he's going to have plenty of shots to get the ball and get better. Right now they're doing a great job of fighting for Cooper Flag. Maybe they end up playing together, but I got to shout out Sharp because I've been impressed with the improvement I've seen so far.
I like
shout out to Carmelo.
I'm sorry,
I like it.
Who doesn't want?
Takes the crown right there,
you just kept saying who doesn't want to be around Magic Johnson? I'm just like, don't do it, don't do it.
No, well, most places. Everywhere else will be around that.
Oh man! All right, well that's our starting lineup for our dishes. Let us know in the comments what you guys feel, and of course, what do we have during Thanksgiving that we always want to watch? It's football. We always want good football games. We have our Cinco Picks this week. We're changing it up a little bit. We got our Thanksgiving Day, we have Rivalry Week, and we have the NFL with a lot of great games. So we're going to divide this up over the show. We're going to start off with our Thanksgiving picks. We have the Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys. That's going to be your snooze game. And then Dolphins, Packers. So let's go around the horn. We'll start with Mike, go to me, go to Jamie, and Trey Day. So Bears, Lions, Mike.
Lions 31, Bears 10.
Lions 45, Bears 3.
Lions 38, Bears 14.
Bears 14, Lions 33.
And the New York Football Giants playing the Cowboys for the last spot in the NFC East.
Giants 17, Cowboys 14.
Cowboys 35, Giants 7.
Cowboys 23, G-Man 13.
Got Giants 17, Cowboys 13.
And potentially the best game of the day, which is going to be the Dolphins and the Packers, because the Dolphins have been playing better lately. Mike, who you got?
We're going to go Pack Attack, the Packers 24, Dolphins 21.
We've seen what happens to the Dolphins when they get cold. They freeze. So it's going to be the Packers 42, the Dolphins. I can't think of the name.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Shit, they just froze.
Yeah,
That was frozen memory too.
Packers 42, Dolphins 28.
This one's going to be a little bit closer. I think a lot of notes were taken last time they were in KC. So I got the Packers winning a nail biter. Packers 27, Dolphins 24.
Almost the same. I had Packers 27, Dolphins 23.
I went really aggressive with the scores this weekend
Way up there.
for every game.
Well,
well, the Lions might actually hit that because they've been scoring at a very high rate. Well, and the Lions have been scoring 52, 42, I think 47 against the Texans. Like, they've been playing at a high level. So, all right, well, that's our Cinco Thanksgiving Day picks.
Time for a clean slate. Enough mistakes have been made, enough choices that have gone completely wrong have happened, and now the New York Football Giants need to wipe the slate clean. Obviously, they've started to with Daniel Jones being released and now signing with the Minnesota Vikings. They let Saquon Barkley walk for nothing, for no reason, because he wasn't going to get paid. Guess what? Yes, he was, by the Philadelphia Eagles. So now, fire Joe Shane, fire Brian Daboll, fire the whole coaching staff, because yet again, the Giants have to do this over. They have to rebuild. They have to get a new quarterback, continue to build up an offensive line that they've been building for damn near 20 years. They have Malik Neighbors, who now seemingly wants out. So great, you might have to get another main playmaker. Tyrone Tracy looked great as a rookie, but who knows if he'll be around after they rebuild this team by the time they're ready to contend. And you know what? As a fan, I'm really sick and tired of it. I'm really tired of having to rebuild this thing every 2-3 years. So get your heads out of your asses and actually do it right this time.
We're going to move on to college football because, you know, it's college football rivalry. You see what I'm wearing. You see what Trey's wearing. It is rivalry week. So what is your favorite college football rivalry moment?
November 30th, 2024. That was the day we beat the shit out of Michigan and we went on to win the national championship. Oh, wait a minute. This show's not the future. Sorry. I'm a little ahead.
It hasn't happened yet.
Don't worry. It's coming.
That's not a moment.
Trey Psychic.
Zeke already told me. Zeke.
Who the hell is that?
That's little Zeke.
It's Zeke.
That looks nothing like Zeke.
Yes, it does.
That looks like
no, because they don't have the half.
like,
you can't see his stomach.
Yeah, that looks like me right now, and you left me out on the
Yeah, it's like melted J.
on the deck of a cruise ship, but I never came inside. I just roasted like a potato all weekend.
And you gained a little weight.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was eating.
What you're not gonna do is come for Baby Zeke there. Baby Zeke says it was then, but no. All seriousness for me though. Okay, so of course it was Ohio State, Michigan, but it was what was called the game of the century. It was back in 2006, November 2006. Ohio State was number 1, Michigan was number 2. Realistically, who knows we'll ever see that again? I mean, what's the chance to get a rivalry and both teams are the number 1 and 2 team in the country? So the game, this is the one time that the game actually got moved to 3:30. To be honest with you, I'd be fine to play at night. I know a lot of people are like, we have to play it at noon. For what?
Tradition.
Why can't you move stuff? Yeah, because it's tradition. Fuck all that. I like that they played at 3:30 that time. I wouldn't mind if they moved it again. Anyways, it was trash. So it was Lloyd Carr. We had 2 legendary coaches, so that was fun. Ohio State ends up winning 42-39. It seals Troy Smith's Heisman Trophy campaign, so that was a great moment, especially for me being somebody in Cleveland. I love that team because there were so many Cleveland dudes on there. You had Anthony Gonzalez. He was from Cleveland. You had Ted Ginn. You had Troy Smith. You had Hartline was from Canton, best receiver coach of football now. He was on the team at the time. So we had a lot of guys, even from Northeast Ohio, which I can appreciate. So I always liked that team a lot. From Michigan, on the other side, which was interesting, you had Prescott Burgess, you had Manningham. They went to Warren Harding, which was also in Ohio, which they were actually rivals with some of those guys that played some of them in the playoffs back when they were in high school. And I actually went to a couple of those games. So it was crazy to watch these rivalries get extended out to college. You had Mike Hart, Chad Henne. I know Mike Hart's one of John's favorite Michigan people. So it was a lot of star-studded affair, and it was a fun game. As a side note, I remember specifically being at that game. It was 3:30. I was at a bar. I was supposed to be at a bar as a teenager, but I was like a bar and grill wing spot. And the bar, it was so many drinks going because it was a high-scoring game and all these games were happening that the bar by the third quarter ran out of fucking Hennessy. It was crazy. They were literally out of Hennessy. And my teenage self was like sneaking Hennessy shots. The old heads were like, come on, young blood, take this Hennessy shot. That was a good touchdown the Buckeyes just made. I'm just sneaking shots and shit like that. So for me, that was a fun experience, not just because it was a good game, but because I had a good moment. I'm sure John, on the other end, has some terrible Michigan moment that he would like to talk about when they beat Michigan State.
Yes, we had 7 years between winning against Ohio State. It was 3 years ago. November, I forget the date, but it was 2021. It started snowing. It was the first time in a very long time that Michigan had beaten Ohio State. It was the first time Jim Harbaugh had beaten Ohio State. And what a euphoric game. I mean, I was pacing the entire time. even though Michigan had a few touchdown lead, it still was like, oh, Ohio State still can come back. I've seen this before. It's going to come back. And then 2016, where you guys did not get the first down, but they call it the first down, which is bullshit. And we should have won that game. At the end of the day, that was a euphoric moment where it was like, yes, finally. And then went on to the college football playoff and watched them in person get absolutely shellacked by the future champions of the Georgia Bulldogs. But that was just such a great moment because it set the program up for the future and moving forward for the next 3 years to absolutely say, okay, we got Ohio State done. We got the Big Ten championship. Now it's time to win an actual championship here. Because as Trey and I always allude, yes, the rivalry is huge to us, but winning a ring at the end of the year is even bigger for us. So that was my biggest moment in football over the last maybe 10, 15 years. I do remember that 3:30 game, by the way, too. And it was
there's an irony there. And I thought about it. You said it. So y'all got your ass kicked by Georgia right after that?
Yeah, badly.
Yeah, the irony of my moment is we didn't get our ass kicked by Florida. So both of these moments were great, followed by getting our ass kicked
by SEC teams.
You
know what's crazy is by SEC rivals too. Big rivals. So
yeah, that was. So quick question for you all, and this is for everybody. Okay, so clearly, and call me wrong if I think I'm wrong. If y'all think I'm wrong here, Ohio State, Michigan are the best rivalry in college football. Mm-hmm. Most people would say probably Alabama, Auburn is number 2. You would probably say. What do y'all think? If not, what do y'all think is? If not, then who do y'all think is number 2? Or I was gonna say the number 3 rivalry, since we pretty much probably all agreed that it's Ohio State, Michigan as the top.
I think Texas, Oklahoma was the top 3 rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say Auburn, Alabama, just because of the games over the last maybe 25 years. You go back, Auburn always steps up, no matter what. If they're bad, which they have been. They always play Alabama right to the wire. This game is going to go right to the wire. Last year was a holy shit catch, and in the corner in the end zone. Alabama should have lost that game. Should never even been in contention for the national title last year. But Auburn and Alabama always play each other tough, no matter what the record is. Obviously, Alabama's had that, the number over the last few years, but. I can't say any other rivalries had like, oh my God, games. I mean, even Ohio State, Michigan, we hype it up. The media hypes it up and everything. But the games haven't really been that close. They haven't been really that. It's always been one side or the other over the last 10 years. I know people are going to shit on me for that, but it's true. 2016 was the last time the game actually went down to the freaking wire. If you remember, it went to overtime. So it's kind of been lopsided. The media hypes it up. Everybody hypes it up because they're 2 top teams, and last
year was close though.
What?
Remember last year was close. I mean,
it was close until the second half, and then it just.
Remember, Kyle McCord threw an interception. We were driving to actually try to win the game. Kyle McCord threw an interception in the fourth quarter late.
But you guys were down 2 touchdowns at that point, right?
No, when we down to score, I'm pretty sure we were down to score at that point.
I thought you were down 10 or 14 at that point.
No, at one point we were down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right, y'all go away. We got to talk.
This is important. We're not talking about Florida.
All right, you guys step in.
Kentucky or
John's back and he bullies everyone out of the way. Yep.
That actually, Trey, thank you for that question. That actually transitions well into mine because speaking of Auburn and Alabama and going wire to the wire, unfortunately for me, Notre Dame has rivalries, but not necessarily like highly contested rivalries that you would consider like maybe even top 10 in college football. So I had to go outside of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and of course the one that sticks in every college football fan's memory. It's 2013. It's the Iron Bowl. It's the kick six. Chris Davis taking a failed field goal all the way back to shock Alabama and beat them. That always stands out in my mind because watching it on TV, because obviously, like outside, Notre Dame's game's done, all that. I think we beat USC at that point. And I'm just watching this game, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. Because I see the field goal go up, and from the angle they show it first, it looks like he made it. So it's like, oh, geez, okay, Alabama won another game. Great. We got to deal with more Alabama talk. And then it's like, well, why is Davis running? Why is he still running? He's still running. Did they miss? And then all of a sudden you notice there's
Trey and I remember that clear as day. We were together on that game.
Right.
Because I remember I was going to the kitchen and he was just like, bro. I was like,
Right.
what?
Right.
I thought the game was over.
Well, what's crazy is that all of a sudden, as a fan, when they do the angle from behind Davis as he's running, you start noticing that there's no Alabama players in front of him. And there's nothing but like the rest of Auburn in front of him, including possibly some of the bench, it looked like. But yeah, that's just the amazing, like, highest of highs for Alabama. Like, you think it's on a line that they won, and all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, Auburn storming the field, and
Auburn's gonna win the football game.
Thank you. That's the line. Yes. So that, as far as like rivalry games, is just an insane moment that I'll always remember.
I don't know how you didn't do the. I know you guys lost the game on it, but the Reggie Bush, the Notre Dame, USC.
That's what I thought you were about to say.
That's why the question is favorite, and no, that's never going to be my.
That was a great game. It was a great game.
And
they deserved, and USC deserved to lose that game, and y'all let them back again. Let them back in. You gotta have a history of doing that.
Well, you also had to try to grow the damn grass to slow people down. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah.
They can't control
See,
it. They have a schedule like every 2 weeks.
Cameraman in Michigan. Exactly. We're too busy going to church. Jay, what do you got?
Well, guys, it's kind of strange what I remember the most there. And it was on the non-winning side in the Kentucky-Florida rivalry, because I remember being in the swamp 2014, early September. The winning streak is at about 27, 28. And I'm in my Kentucky game, and all I'm hearing from Florida fans are, who the hell is this idiot here? So they're just all for the whole game, just heckling my ass, until they realize, holy shit, the streak might come to an end tonight. Somehow Kentucky hangs around, send the game to overtime. The game goes to double overtime, where Kentucky has a golden opportunity to take the game, and somehow quarterback misses wide open receiver in back of the end zone, plays pass incomplete. They got to kick a field goal, goes to triple overtime. They don't score. Florida scores a tutty. Florida wins the game. But the memory for me was seeing the fear of God in these stupid Gator fans' eyes as Kentucky proved that they can be on the field and compete on the field with these Gators. 4 years later in Gainesville, the inevitable happens. Kentucky wins 27-16, and then we go on our little 4-game win streak after that. But funny enough, my memory is just the energy of how that stadium shifted, and it got really quiet in overtime. Meanwhile, I'm the only fan that's going off the rocker there. Me and like 3 Kentucky fans probably got about 17 people threatening to beat my ass up after the game, because everybody was convinced they were going to lose the game. Like, people are walking out. I'm like, what the hell are you walking out for? It's overtime.
I can only imagine because you're loud as fuck now next to me. I can't imagine being next to you in a stadium right there. If I was with you, I'd leave. I'd be like, dude, I'll beat you in the car. Like, I can't do this right now.
Like, my buddy,
I can't. I'm gonna have to switch seats in a second because
I had a buddy of mine who was like jumping on the bandwagon with me, and Ron's sitting there like, I can't fucking believe this is about to happen. So it was a great time. Even though we lost.
Well, I mean, hey, with rivalry week comes rivalry games, and we have a slew of them. We have Michigan, Ohio State, of course, Texas A&M, which is actually going to be playing for the SEC championship game, which will be nice. We have Georgia Tech, Georgia. Georgia Tech always plays Georgia close, and Georgia looks like a shell of themselves this year. South Carolina, Clemson, another great matchup. Could put Clemson out of the college football playoff completely at this point. And then Auburn, Alabama. So we're going to go around the horn just like we did again in the beginning for the Thanksgiving Day picks, and going to go pick our teams here. So, Mike, start us off again. Michigan, Ohio State.
Oh, God, you're starting with that one? Sorry. Ohio State, 28. Michigan, 14.
Okay, we're still friends.
I was about to say, I mean, there's 2 people on here that have the one.
You can still come over.
So you know where his fandom is. He's with me. He's with me, Trey. I'm kidding, Mike.
I was like, well, you're here and can beat my ass, so that's why I have to apologize.
I'm not going to beat your ass when we pick.
Beat his ass, say bass.
Michigan, 21. Ohio State, 20.
Ohio State, 28. Michigan, 10.
Ohio State 31, Michigan 13.
Texas versus Texas A&M to go to the SEC championship game.
Texas 38, Texas A&M 24.
Texas A&M 35, Texas 31.
Texas 27, A&M 20.
Texas 24, A&M 28.
Oh, so you have A&M winning.
Yes, I do.
So 2-2. 2-2. Nice. Georgia Tech versus Georgia.
Georgia Tech 21, Georgia 20.
Georgia 35, Georgia Tech 14.
Georgia 38, Georgia Tech 22.
Georgia 27. Actually, I got Georgia 27, Georgia Tech 21.
And we have South Carolina versus Clemson.
Clemson 21, South Carolina 14.
South Carolina 35, Clemson 20.
And the South Kakalaki boys, South Carolina 23, Clemson 20.
Their coach is so amped, dude. It's unreal.
He's ready.
He's ready for this game.
South Carolina 32, Clemson 24.
Nice.
And then we have the Iron Bowl, the one we were just talking about. Alabama versus Auburn.
Auburn 27, Alabama 21.
Alabama 42, Auburn 14.
Alabama in overtime. Alabama 30, Auburn 24.
Auburn 30, Alabama 27.
And that's our Cinco Picks of the week for college football for Rivalry Week. And it wouldn't be Rivalry Week without a Mike's mind. So, Mike, take it away with your mind.
So it is college football rivalry week, and there is a possibly soon to be forgotten rivalry, or at least way lower on the totem pole as far as rivalry week goes than it's ever been. And that is Oregon State. Oregon obviously moving to the Big Ten. Oregon State staying in what will now be the new Pac-12. But for years, that rivalry was hotly contested. They always wanted to beat each other. It was the Battle of Oregon. But for 3 years, at one point, there were more than just Oregon bragging rights at stake. You see, at one point, the two teams played each other for the most valued trophy potentially in sports history, the Platypus Trophy. Yes, the trophy with a kind of weird blob-like animal on top had two distinguishing features: the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, therefore platypus. Oregon State won it in 1958 and 1959 and 1961, while Oregon split in the middle at 1960 and won the trophy. Then it mysteriously disappeared for about 40 years. And the legend goes that it was stolen and then used for the water polo trophy between the two schools. But eventually it was found, located in 2005, 2007, returned to the alumni associations, and now the winner of the game gets the alumni association from the winning school gets the trophy. But at one point they fought over a platypus.
Okay, so we're coming up on early signing day, and I remember that used to be like a really, really big deal with the guys who be signing. They may be enrolling early into college or just getting ready to basically get out of school. Now that everything's kind of starting to change, I don't even know if anybody knew it was coming. But how do y'all feel about early NCAA football signing day now? Jay?
I don't. It doesn't have the same lure anymore because you're getting all the leaks of which billionaire is bidding for which top prospect. The stories aren't about the kids anymore. It's not about the kids and their day and their moment to say what school I'm going to. Everything is just headlined by whoever the highest bidder is. It's like now these guys are auctioned items and highest bidder wins. And it's whatever group of businessmen, whatever group of business venturists, whatever group of whatever from whatever state decides we're going to come together. And it's a billionaire's playground now. Like, when did college football become such a billionaire's playground that they get to gamble with young kids' futures now? It's nuts.
But it's also turning these kids into it's just turning them into money hungry, and I get it, right? Yeah, exactly, Bubba. So it's turning these kids into just, I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but it's just, I don't like the way it's going. I think that there needs to be some sort of balance there, right? There needs to be some sort of cap or something that has to help. I like the NIL signing. I think they should get their name and likeness 100%. I don't care about that. But for Michigan to sit there and have to bid in LSU for $10.5 million for a number one recruit is ridiculous, in my opinion. We shouldn't have to pay $10.5 million to a quarterback that has never proven himself. It's almost like the Caleb Williams thing. Like, Caleb Williams bet on himself, and obviously he's looking great now in the second half of the season, and you're saying, oh, wow, he's worth the money now. It's like, okay, slow it down a little bit. He's still got his first year, not even through it. I don't mind the early signing. I don't mind the NIL money, because go get your money, kids, but there's got to be some sort of structure. Now you're just throwing money at these kids all you want, and you're not building values or, for a better sense, hard work into these kids. In the sense, you have to earn your money, in my opinion. So yeah, I think the signing should be, if you're gonna go sign with a sponsor, that's fine. But for the schools to have to fork up all this money for a player that has never played for that school or never played Division I school, I'm not for, because I think it's ridiculous. It's almost like me saying, okay, yeah, I'd be great at ESPN. ESPN sign me the $80 million deal, and then I get on camera and I'm like, try choke on the camera, right? So it's like, now you're paying me $80 million. So it just doesn't make any sense to me for schools to have to fork up all this money. If Adidas says, hey, I want to give this kid $10 million, go right ahead. But I mean, look, at Bubba agrees with me.
Happening though, because a lot of it is. I was just gonna keep rolling. He's back there barking at the tree.
He wants to be on the show, bro. He's like, God, just give me my spotlight. Let me get a moment here.
He was
one
really
one thing, Trey, before you go, one thing that John touched on, that whole idea, like, I'm fine with the NIL as well. I feel like if a player markets himself and positions himself well enough, you sign an agent to do that. So you're not dependent on whether, a bunch of boosters can come together and give you what you want. You really are using your name, image, and likeness to get ahead of the game. Right now, if you have a last name like Manning, it's a lot easier, or Sanders is a lot easier. But the kids who are out there hustling, doing their thing, kudos to them. I mean, they are now changing the game as it should be, not just for football players or for basketball players, but for every athlete in the NCAA. But I stick to the point that the signing day thing doesn't have the special feel to it anymore, because it was really all about what hat are you going to put on your head. Now it's about, tell me the deal. I need to hear the deal.
And even if you put that hat on, like the kid that's going to Michigan next year, he gets flipped in a month because Michigan came back and said, we'll pay you $10.5. But does it matter if you win a ring now? Like, I think that's a real question. Does it even matter to these kids about winning a ring or going to the NFL? Because if you're going to go get paid $40-50 million in college, what does it matter about going to the NFL or winning a ring or even competing at that point?
I would bet a different on that as an Ohio State fan. Remember, we brought back 9 of 11 stars on defense. Most of them said the reason they came back was because they didn't beat Michigan. They felt bad about it. They wanted to run a ring. So a lot of those dudes, JT Tuimoloau, Dizzo Burkers on draft stock coming back because he keeps getting fucking.
But that's returning. That's not signing.
Understand the culture. That's the difference, right? They bought
into
your
so I'm saying it doesn't mean that people aren't there for a ring, because if what you said earlier was everybody's money greedy and all those type of things. Well, he could have took the money greedy route, went to NFL. He could have said, fuck it, I'm just going to NFL, skip this ring. Those dudes came back because they wanted to win the ring. I think it's really about the culture you set for that. Like Jay just said, that's a culture thing. If you can set a culture, your guys say, I'm coming back for it, fine. When it comes to the schools, it's not really the schools dishing out money. You got to look at the boosters. That's what's really dishing out the money. I mean, at the end of the day, because you got, what's the guy on Barstool? He the one up here talking about, I'm going to pay anybody to come to Michigan. I didn't see, it wasn't the University of Michigan that dished that money out. It was the boosters and the fans and stuff like that. So people always want to blame the schools, and that's not the school, that's fans. These are crazy fans that do that.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I think there's a little bit of I think there's a similarity, but there also is a difference from what you just said. Because when you look at it, I mean, they're already there set in motion. They've already sat there through the loss. They've already been through this a couple times, and they're like, we've been embarrassed every single year. So now you're playing for more pride when you're in the organization, as you can call college now, as an organization. And where I think the signing day, where Jay and I were talking about, is more or less the pride of it where you picked that school. Like we saw that one kid, he's picked Alabama over, or he picked Florida over Alabama, and his mom walked out and everything. It's a different feel where now it's like, yeah, the signing day means something, but in a month, if Notre Dame comes over and says, hey, we'll pay you $40 million or $10 million, $12 million, he's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna decommit. And I think that's wrong. I think once you sign, and you're there, right? You're there for
other than the head coach just jumping.
Other than the head coach jumping, once you sign that contract, it's a contract at the end of the day. If you're gonna, if Michigan's gonna give a guy $10 million and he signs on the dotted line and he says, you're in. You can't leave. Like, no, like we're giving you this money, we're signing you. It's a contract. This is a contract between us.
Are contracts really contracts? It's sports.
Exactly, and that's the other question. How are these contracts given to these?
But you're saying to them, I would ask you, okay, so what's the difference between them and Devontae Adams? Did he not just bitch his way out so he can go lose with the New York Jets?
Yep.
He was under contract. He had to tell my hamstring hurts. So I mean, everybody want to keep going with these 18-year-olds. The tone's been set with the NBA, the NFL, all these guys way before that. If I'm sitting there, my favorite player is Devontae Adams, and I watch this dude bitch his way out.
Do you think it's different though? Don't you think it's different though? Just because they have a salary cap, they have to actually trade the player. So wouldn't you want it? So to kind of change the way you were saying, wouldn't you say, okay, well, Michigan, this guy doesn't want to play. He signed the contract, but they had to trade for him. So hey, we'll trade you LSU. We'll trade you LSU. Like,
okay, but what did they get back for Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams really worth a 5th round pick? No, so that doesn't. No, really
of course not. But
because the difference is, you know what happens is, homeboy was supposed to go to LSU. LSU going to replace him with a 5-star. When Devontae Adams asked how they don't replace him, Tyreek Hill doesn't show up, or Justin Jefferson to replace him. He gets replaced with a 5th round draft pick. So actually, they're putting him in a worse position than them. LSU won't be all right. Some dude from California is going to sign and play quarterback at LSU that's probably a 5-star. Devontae Adams says, I want out. They're just fucked. So actually, to me, as much as everybody wants to give them grief in college, the NFL and them are way more egregious. The NBA really is egregious.
I don't have a problem with them jumping schools and stuff like that. I just think if you're going to sign me like to a $10 million contract in that sense, like I'm playing for that school. Like that's it. Like if you want to opt out, that's fine, but you have to again go to sit out a year. Like I'm paying you that, or not. Well, again, to your point, they're not paying you. I don't agree with the fact that, because like you're sitting there, right? Like Devontae Adams had to sit out a little bit, but I think it is different in the NFL because he traded. You don't know what that 5th round pick's going to be. That 5th round pick could be. I mean, look what Michigan. New England guy, 7th round pick with Brady and everything, Hall of Famer.
Devontae Adams set out. He said my hamstring hurts and got paid, and fake injury and was healthy suddenly the next week. That's not sitting out. He literally said I'm hurt and was suddenly eligible to play in the Steelers game right after he's back in practice. That's not sitting out. He chose
but Trey, that goes back to an ethical thing where NFL teams should not be able to report inaccurate injuries, and if you do so, you should be penalized like the
NBA,
big time.
Like the NBA.
Yeah, but the thing about the hard part of inaccurate.
So that's more on the organization allowing that to be the precedent you set, which says the Raiders are in shambles right now. Right? We know that. Okay.
But the hard part with that is anybody, but it's not like they're the only ones that do it. And sometimes the players does it. He can go to the team right now and say my hamstring hurts, and the team, even if they report that, they may be telling accurate information. I put that back to the player, or they did that together. But that's not on the organization, because Devontae Adams told them, I don't want to be here no more, and then he says my hamstring hurts. So they both did benefit from that.
Exactly, because they're both trying to get what they want out of the situation.
And then like you want the highest value, but like at that point, to your point, with a 5th round pick, they were going to get that regardless if he was hurt or not, because he's Devontae Adams, right? He's going to get that 5th round pick no matter what.
I'm just saying it's easier to replace Bryce Underwood if he doesn't come, as you said, an unproven guy, than the guy who's probably a future Hall of Famer who says I want to be there. I mean, that being said, I agree. Signing day isn't the same. I more so is saying y'all side points. Signing day ain't the same because these guys leave. The reason signing day ain't the same for me, because I remember used to watch Rivals and say, oh shit, we're the number 2 team. It's like, does that really matter? Because the number 2, you got the number 2 signing team in the country. That ain't gonna be the roster to show up. So I agree with y'all on that.
Yeah,
because I do remember watching like the Ohio State team when it was Zeke and Bolts and all them. They were a very highly recruited class, and they all grew together. Well, that ain't gonna happen anymore. That's just realistic now with the top team. So I do agree with y'all.
Wait a minute. Let Mikey put some pimping in it. Mikey, I know you got a purist mindset when it comes to these things. So what you got?
I wouldn't say a purist mindset. To illustrate how much you're paying Bryce Underwood to come to Michigan, his $10 million NIL deal to come to Michigan is more than Breece Hall's entire rookie contract is worth, which is insane. As far as the singular early signing day, plus the NIL, plus the transfer portal rules now combined, the thing that really stands out to me is this is going to feed into the transfer portal becoming even more heavily used than the absolute heavy use of it before, because there's also going to be, on top of them finding new NIL deals to transfer to and things like that they'll be able to do down the line as they get better and better and all that. It also, I know it's only like a few months difference between like what was early signing day, which is now only signing day, and what was April, late March, early April.
February.
No, February. January, February.
Yeah.
February was the official before all the early enroll.
Yeah, April's too early.
Yeah.
way too late. At that point, you're going to spring practice. They need to be there.
So I know it's only a couple months difference, but sometimes I think there are guys that take that couple months and actually find the place that they want to be at. But now to the point you guys were making, the reason they want to be at schools is absolutely different. Because I don't think, and Trey, I understand what you mean about Ohio State returning 9 of 11 guys, and they all want to come back and beat Michigan and win a championship and all that, and that's great. But the way college football is progressing at this point, I think it's a slippery slope where you're going to every year get more and more guys that don't think that way. All they think about is the money they can make on their NIL deals. Championships aren't going to mean as much. Conference championships, beating rivals isn't going to mean as much. It's just going to be about the money, because in the end, they're being treated like professionals, so they're going to carry themselves like professionals.
But they are professionals. I have to disagree with that, because even the professional athletes care about, because even you think about Saquon wanted to sit out, Derrick Henry was going to sit out, all these guys were going to sit out, but they still care about a championship at the end of the day. I don't think that part of it is going to move aside. I think what's going to move aside is we're going to see a lot more of the transfer portal, which we have now seen die out pretty much. I mean, in the sense of where the transfer portals everywhere, a lot of these coaches are going. I mean, Deion will not recruit kids. If you see him recruiting kids, it's very rare. He's always going transfer. And then you have the opposite, polar opposite, where Dabo won't come up with the times and only go recruit. So it's a slippery slope. But I disagree with you on that. That I don't think that kids aren't going to care about championships, because I still think they're going to care about the championships in that sense. That doesn't make any sense. Why do you play sports? You play sports to win championships. At the end of the day, then you're saying that, okay, LeBron James is making $60 million a year. You don't give a fuck about championships.
Mike, do you think
he does care about though?
My point is, though, they're already professional. The end goal is to go pro. So the pros are going to care more about championships because they're locked into a team. They can't go any higher. College guys, they're going to get their money and then they're going to go pro. And
then we're not going to see a college athlete get up into the pro level type dollar figure. They're just,
no, I don't think you are, but you can.
But Mike, do you really think every?
But if you're
okay, but Breece Hall is not even.
If you're surpassing a rookie deal, then it does set this precedent as they're going to go in there with a chip on their shoulder saying, I'm already worth more than this. And it's almost like the NFL is going to have to go into their bargaining agreement and say, are we going to have to move the needle? Because who knows if someone's going to get drafted and be like, my ass ain't fucking playing until you pay me more. And they'll be fine, don't play. And then that team wastes a fucking first round draft. You can't have that.
Well, at this point, they can't, though, because collective bargaining, they're slotted. This isn't back in the day where you can just come in. Remember, Cam Newton was the first year where they slotted you in, because that used to be a thing where they would do that. Michael Crabtree tried to do that at a point where he tried to say, I'm not playing unless the 49ers give me top-tier money, and people got upset about it. Back to what Mike was saying, though, in regards of if they care. I mean, I think if you're a person that cares, you care. I don't think every professional athlete wants to win a championship. I think that's full of shit, too. I think that depends on the person, because I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody talk about J.J. Watt wants to win, right? Then why that motherfucker take a bag to go play for the Arizona Cardinals if he wanted to win so much? Why DeAndre Hopkins go trying for the Titans if he wanted to win so goddamn much? So people can say that all the time. No, it depends on the person, their position. There are some guys that are going to say, for the Titans?
No, I'm saying he's with the Chiefs now, but he's now a shell of himself because he can't be. I mean, yeah,
but when he was a free agent and he had a chance, he could have went to the Chiefs the first time. But he wanted to go take the bag.
He said, "I don't want to play for Patrick Mahomes." He literally said that. That's what they were making a big deal about, and they showed him dapping up. He did not want to play for the Chiefs because he knew he probably wouldn't get the ball as much and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, like, I get what you're saying. A lot of these guys don't want to win championships. It's all about the money. Well, that's fine. I don't think in college, like, I think you're still going to get the majority of the guys wanting to win versus the guys not wanting to win. I don't think you're ever going to have that shift of it's going to all be about the money and no championship, because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I just think most athletes do want to win.
Yeah, there's only a small percentage.
Some are going to chase the bag, but I think most want to win. I know we were just talking about DeAndre Hopkins. We were talking about the deals and all that. And, Black Friday's coming up, so it's going to be a lot of good deals. When we look across sports, we got some good deals, we got some bad deals. So let's take a look, and maybe let's start with Mike, because Mike was saying about, people going for deals. Let's start with Mike. Give us an athlete, and we'll all talk about it. If we think they got a good deal right now or a bad deal in their contract. Take any sport, baseball, football, basketball, hockey.
Actually, Jamie and Trey, I think you'll be proud of me. I actually took it to the hardwood this time. And
there we go.
We're going to go out to Utah, to the Utah Jazz, specifically Lauri Markkanen's upcoming extension. 4 years, $195 backloaded. So he'll be getting paid more in year 4 than he is in year 1.
Do we have an age on Lauri?
Do we have an age on Markkanen?
23.
He's not.
Yeah, I know he's not 23, but
he's about 28.
27,
Yeah,
28?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do the math of what.
How much is how many years?
30s.
4.
4 years. He'd be 32.
Yeah,
That's not terrible. That's not terrible. I mean, the worst deal right now is looking like going to be in the future is going to be from the Dallas Cowboys, and that's Dak Prescott getting $60 million a year. That is a terrible deal. I mean, that is just he sits out the rest of the year because, I mean, granted, he did, I think, tear his hip off his bone or whatever. Yeah. So that's respectfully, I understand. I mean, he's not doing his hip. He's not doing those enough. So, I mean, that's just a terrible deal. He looked terrible this year. The Cowboys looked terrible, spending all that money on CeeDee Lamb. And, CeeDee Lamb's still a top 5 receiver in the league with yardage if you look on the stat log on NFL.com. But that Dak Prescott deal is just wild to me. So,
Mikey's deal or no deal. For me, I'll take the deal. Versatile big man. I like the fact that he's actually playing better than people projected. I thought Chicago was dumb letting him go to begin with. So I'll take that deal.
Who?
I can, with Mike's deal with Lauri.
We're supposed to go around. My
bad. Mike's deal with Lauri. I can take that deal.
Apparently, I just went off the fucking rails again. I'll just leave again. I'm going back to New York.
We haven't even talked about Lauri's deal. Lauri's deal is fine though because the cap is ultimately going to go up, so it's going to balance it out anyways in the end. And I don't think. I mean, he seems to play a decent amount of games. Not like this guy was always hurt every week or anything like that. He's not high maintenance. He's not going to get anybody's way. He can stretch the floor. So I think that deal is going to be fine. I just think the thing is that deal is ultimately going to be a deal somebody else is going to be paying because I don't think he'll be in Utah in 2 years. I will say that as a side note.
It's just weird nowadays with NBA contracts. A lot of the 4-year deals are not true 4 years because either opt out after 3 or opt out. Is this full? That's the one thing I want to know. It could be traded mid-year and then it's a great trade. Like there's a bonus too, and was it Halliburton too? That was a great 1-for-1 trade. But when you look at Lauri Markkanen, is the deal straight through, no opt-outs, or is there a team opt-out? Is there a player option after 2 or 3? So I think it's a solid deal just because Lauri Markkanen, I think, can be a great player, great role piece from what I've seen in the past. And I think getting that deal and getting him solidified, he's with Utah still, right? Or Chicago?
No,
he's with Utah.
So I think Utah needs something to solidify their future after getting rid of Gobert and Mitchell. I mean, they need something that's somewhat of stability. So it's not a bad deal. It's not a bad what?
He won't be there. There'll be a certain gentleman from Duke who'll probably be there in a year, and then Lauri had to go.
Most likely. Yeah, and to answer that question, by the way, it's a straight 4-year extension, but the no trade that he's got on his current deal ends in February of 25. So there won't be a no trade tacked onto the extension anymore.
Okay.
Just straight 4-year extension.
All right. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad deal at the end of the day. I think it's a solid deal. So I guess I'll
So
go.
John, back to your Dak
Back to
Prescott.
Back to Dak.
Since we're here, back
Back
to
to
Dak.
Dak attack.
Oh man, I come
Okay,
back and
so
not pay
Jay, do
attention
you
to
think
shit.
Dak's deal? Jay, how do you feel about Dak's deal?
It just makes it worse when you say you can't afford the best running back in football for under $10 million, but you could dish out 60 a year. And nobody would have thought anything on the fact you tell Dak 6 years, 300 mil. Nobody's blinking an eye. 50 mil a year. In my mind, Dak shouldn't even be saying you need to pay me more, because what does he have to back that up? Amongst the fraternity of quarterbacks with guys that have won 12 games in a regular season, he does. I mean, and it's not just him, right? I guess the defense too. You don't have what it takes beyond the regular season to demand top shelf money. You just don't. The quarterbacks that can't get it done in the playoffs, they can demand top shelf money. You say, well, does Lamar Jackson belong in that conversation? Well, now you're talking about a guy who might be a 3-time MVP. That's different, a lot different. So hell friggin' no.
What's scary about that is that Brock Purdy's deal's up, and he's been to a Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, and he was the glue of this team this year, and now he's hurt.
They're talking 45 for him.
No, he's going to definitely get north of 60. His agent's going to go.
He's going to get more than 60.
He's going to say, I want 60. If that's what you're paying $60 million, and I'm getting it done, even though I haven't won the ring, I'm getting it done in crunch time. I'm winning NFC Championship game. My team is critically bad without me in the lineup.
Even if they miss the playoffs this year.
Even if he's the reason why he's going to be out 3 straight weeks. Remember, look at the Niners last week. They looked like a shell of themselves last week. And you're going to tell me that Brock Purdy...
That he's not the influencer.
And he's been the guy this year. He's been the guy doing it all. And Trey brought it up to me because I was on the reverse side. And I looked at it. I'm like, damn, he's right. He is the person that is actually doing it and getting it done with players that you don't... Ricky Pearsall. I mean, granted, I'm glad that he's playing and everything. But Ricky Pearsall, we never even saw come. Jaron Jennings. Usually we see Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, unfortunately went out with an injury. George Kittle's been out every other week. He's doing with guys that are not top perennial guys that have been on the team previous years. So if Brock Purdy doesn't get a $60+ million deal, there's something wrong with the NFL. Completely wrong.
You don't have to worry about it. He'll get 60, absolutely. Mike, what do you think about that?
No. It's possibly, as John said before, the worst contract in football. There is no way in hell that Dak Prescott should be making $60 million and be the highest paid player. Listen, obviously, my team now has a former quarterback that they paid $40 million, and that was a bad deal. But $20 extra million for, I don't know if it's comparable production, but it can't be that much better, considering, especially accolades-wise, because neither of them won anything. That's what it really comes down to. Dak won nothing. Like, he has won nothing. He has won you nothing.
And you're making me defend Dak now. I mean, he played significantly better than Dak.
But no, what I'm saying is
on the field speed compare the two.
But I'm saying neither of them have ended up winning anything.
Yeah, I get that.
So it's like I guess it's more of a point of neither of them deserve the money. But yeah, it's god awful. And if my team paid Dak at the current Dak Prescott $60 million, I would be up in arms over what the hell.
Yeah, I mean it's not a good contract. And then CeeDee Lamb doing with no one is getting had to beg for his money pretty much. And again is at top 5 receiver this year. And he had to beg for his money. These receivers and running backs, and especially the running backs, is Derrick Henry and Saquon are putting the running backs back on the map. Joe Mixon, we're having guys like that have career years and be critical parts of the team, are going to start saying these quarterbacks aren't the reason why we're winning. We are. So either pay us and take away from the quarterbacks, or like Trey's mentioned many times, have a separate salary cap for the quarterbacks and pay us our money that we deserve.
Okay, so my answer is I don't think it's actually a bad deal. Why? Because of what you just said there, which is always my point. There is no such thing as a bad deal for a quarterback. And I truthfully mean that. I absolutely mean it. I'm going to bring this up. Number 2 paid, average after that. Joe Burrow. 3, Jordan Love. What has he fucking done? 4, Trevor Lawrence. What the fuck has he done? 5, Tua Tagovailoa. He's had a concussion every other week. I just named you the top 5 people. What do all 5 of them have in common? 0 Super Bowls. 1 Super Bowl appearance total. So everybody keep coming for Dak. All they do is just pay the next person. So when you said Purdy at 45, no, Purdy's going to get 65 because they always just go up on the next person. Jared Goff, again, at one point he was getting cut by a team and they brought him up. He's at 6. Justin Herbert. People were just calling him overrated last year. Lamar Jackson, he's a 2-time, possibly 3-time MVP, and I just named him at what, 8th highest? Jalen Hurts. Remember, just 2 years ago, we were talking about he was the highest paid quarterback. All they do is just hop right back over. Now, to bring to my point, the guy I was going to pick, because it's actually piggybacks off of this, was Kyler Murray, who I think has a good contract. Because I remember not too long ago, even on this show, we were talking about, yeah, he just games. His contract's bad. You see how far down the list I had to get to that contract after a couple of years? Because all they do is just get the next person the deal. So there's no such thing as a bad quarterback deal. The issue is they won't go make a separate cap for them because no matter how good or bad you are, they just hand the next guy the next thing. So, yes, Brock Purdy's going to make at least 65. And you know what happens after that? Josh Allen's going to come back and he's going to make 70. And then somebody else is going to come back and then C.J. Stroud's
going to have a $100 million quarterback at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, coming very soon.
$100 million NBA superstar?
No, because the NBA is going up higher than the NFL.
The NBA is moving quicker, but we'll have a $100 million quarterback.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, by the time you put it, C.J. Stroud or somebody comes on, C.J. Stroud probably be around the 85 range, and I guess you put up whoever's probably the number 1 pick 2 drafts, I'll probably making $100 million by the time they come up. But looking at Kyler's contract real quick, why I said it's good now, and it's funny because it was such a bad contract to people at the time. Kyler is going to make 45, then 55, then actually goes down to 2027 to 43. Then he actually has a club option, which is pretty rare. So they have the option at 46 mil, which is going to sound fucking amazing by the time we get there in 2028, based on what we just said. Think about what we just said. Dak's making 60. By the time, if the Arizona Cardinals decide to pick up that $46 million team option in 2028, dude's probably going to be like the 21st ranked quarterback contract. When you look at where he's actually at, he's a 10th highest quarterback, and his contract, minus the guarantees, is almost exactly year per year what Deshaun Watson makes. Who actually?
Well, I will give Kyler a lot of credit this year.
Let me finish this point real quick.
Oh,
excuse Dak Prescott. Excuse the fuck out of him. Don't y'all dare insult Dak Prescott. Say he has the worst contract in the league with Deshaun Watson is fucking going to give massages and can't stay on the field. That's the worst contract in professional sports history. So to say Dak Prescott has the worst contract.
Worst contract because it's all guaranteed, and he hasn't done shit. He's barely been on the field.
The fact that it was fully guaranteed.
It's fully guaranteed, and he hadn't played before that.
But
he hadn't played before that for 3 years or 2 years prior. So like you're giving a guy that has barely back to the NIL money. Guy hasn't done anything, and you're giving him all this money. It's like, what has he done?
We have to look at the position. I think it's much more like I was mentioning the fact that like. Jerry has the money, right? So it's more along the fact that you mismanage it to the point where you're telling people that that's not affordable. No, you didn't mismanage it. There's a reason that he didn't want Derrick Henry there, and we don't know why. And it makes no sense. Because if any team was missing one piece, there was the glaring piece that could allow them to compete, not just to get to the playoffs, but maybe finally get back to the NFC Championship game. That was the one piece that was missing from this team. Now, we know the team has fallen apart piece by piece as this year kicked off. We could have anticipated that. But it's football 101 to look at what was there on the table. And then you turn around and just throw $60 million at Dak, thinking that's going to solve the problem. So, yes, Dak is more the prisoner to me of the ill financial decisions made by ownership of Dak.
100%. If I'm a mediocre quarterback, which Dak is, and you say, I'm going to give you $60 million, I'm not going to say, no, I don't deserve, I'm not going to deserve it. I would sign that contract quicker than the paper hit the goddamn table. Right. So, I understand why he signed it. Like, that's not obvious. Like, if someone gave you, say, hey, Jay, go coach a team, and you ain't got to be there most of the time, but sign it, and you didn't sign it, I would hit you. I would punch you. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, sign the goddamn contract. So, but Kyler, I got to give him a lot of credit. He has grown over the last five years, and not in his height. He's grown in his game, and then I got to give him credit where credit's due. I mean, he's been a critical piece why they win, but he's also been a critical piece of why they lose sometimes as well, too. So let's not forget that. But yeah, you're right. As a quarterback in the league that's only making 40 to max 52. I mean, hey, it's a steal for the Cardinals in the next 3 or 4 years, especially if he continues to get better and they continue to draft key pieces.
Really quick, though, with the Cowboys, and this is why Yeah, it's to Dak to an extent, but they just mismatched the whole contract situation. Look at their averages real quick. Dak makes 60. CD makes 34. Diggs is making damn near 20. Terrence Steele is 16. DeMarcus Lawrence at 13. Brandon Cooks is averaging 19 mil. I mean, like,
Brandon
it's
Cooks.
those. When you look at
Damn, I
those,
didn't know he was
that's
making
why you
that
don't have a running back. It's not because you
And
can bring
and
Dak.
who can they not pay all of a sudden that might walk?
Micah.
Micah. Way to go
Yeah, you
there.
still haven't paid him. Somehow you're still on the hook with Trey Lance, who has an average of $8 million a year, right? And so there's a lot of mismanagement outside. We can talk about Dak, but
That's
Dak
his
is
rookie
getting the standard
contract.
price for what the next quarterback gets. You look at those contracts, you say, well, I think Henry was like 10 mil. Well, you can pay Trey Lance 8. The deal was right there. The Trey Lance deal was your Henry deal. Y'all decided to trade for that dude.
Yep.
Knowing that you were about to pay this guy. If you're going to pay that guy 60, you don't go out here and go get Trey Lance and pay him damn near 10.
Yeah, I mean that's there's so much confusion why Derrick Henry, but I don't think Derrick Henry solves their problems. Is he a great addition? 100%. Does it boost the offense? Yes, but the offensive line was still mediocre on that team. It's still not very good. The reason why the Ravens are playing well because they have a good offensive line. I don't think people realize that, and people are so thick-headed when it comes to that. You can't just put a great running back in front of them and say, "Okay, go do it," and then he's just gonna get eating up into the line. Yes, Derrick Henry probably makes some big plays if he played in Dallas in Jerry's world, but the line is not very good. It's old. It's getting old. It's not the line that it was 6 years ago that we kept saying. If you put Derrick Henry behind, and that's why when Saquon came over to the Eagles, it was like, yeah, he has the freaking highway to go run because he has a great offensive line. We built the offensive line up. It was a good move for him to go there. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense why Derek would even want to sign there, because what am I going to do? Just run into the back of my lineman the entire time? That's just basically what would happen. It doesn't matter who's there. Dowdle's a great running back, in my opinion. I think he's an underrated running back that could be not a starter, but a second back on a lot of teams. I mean, he's a second back on that team, but I think he could be a really critical back, kind of like Tony Pollard was. Tony Pollard kind of elevated his game, and now he's a starter with the Titans. Do I think Dowdle's get that level?
If it was even, the Ravens were the better. If they literally both walked in and get the exact same contract, the Ravens were the better deal.
100% agree
for him to go to prolong his career versus them. I think, Jay, you still got to go. What contract you got for us?
Before I go, let me just big up my boy Kyler. You hear that, bro? You growing? They said you growing. All right, so I'm going back to the hardwood here. This one is more along the lines of, is this what a bench player is worth in the NBA right now? So Jonathan Isaac, comes out of FSU about 7 years ago already. Misses 2 years early in his third and fourth year, or fourth and fifth year he misses. So here's what he got. He got a 4-year extension after coming back from 2 years off for $59 million. That includes $23 million guaranteed. Average annual salary of 14 and 3/4, just under 15. So say it's a 7th year in the league. He's averaging just under 7 points and about 5 rebounds a game. Hasn't started a game yet. Only once in his career has he averaged double digits. That was in his 3rd year. So is that what a bench player who can't even get you double digits is worth these days? Deal or no?
How much is he getting paid?
59 mil, 23 guaranteed, 4 years.
59 million a year?
No, 59 mil, 23 guaranteed, just under 15 million a year. The contract total is 59 million.
Yeah, I think that's about average. I mean, that's in my opinion. I think the way the NBA is going and the way that you're paying, I guess, mediocre talent. That's like paying a guy like $2 million or $3 million back in the day. So I don't think it's a bad contract because he is giving them, and he's with the Magic now, right? Or no? Yeah, he's still with the Magic. Yeah, I think he gives them good minutes off the bench. He doesn't need to be the guy. They have the guy. They drafted him, and Franz Wagner.
15 minutes. That's what he's giving you.
I mean, hey, 15 minutes, $1 million a minute.
No, where the issue with Isaac's issue is availability. With him watching the Magic games, it's not about his points. His points mean nothing. The thing with him is he checks all 5 positions. And he's probably the best defender on the team. The issue is he's never available. So because availability means something, it's a bad deal. If he hypothetically was available for 25 minutes and actually played, let's say, 65 games, it would be a good deal. I don't care who you are. If you play less than 50% of the games, you're probably on a bad deal. And that's what the issue with Jonathan Isaac is. You can't, he's not a box score person. He's one of those, he's what I like to call a lead pass superstar. You got to watch lead pass to really understand what his value is. If you're not watching lead pass, you're not going to understand what that guy's value is. And it's not saying anybody's not watching lead pass, but A, the Orlando Magic ain't on TV every night, and B, even when they are on TV, it's a 50% chance he might be available on the night that you happen to be able to catch a Magic game. You may not get to see the true value of what that guy can do. Because I remember in the playoffs, he actually got to play. He was checking all 5 positions when they played the Cavs. And he does that on a nightly basis when he's there. If he played every night, dude would probably be on the All NBA defensive team. But he
Until
doesn't.
you look at Kawhi, I guess we could put Kawhi in that situation with the worst contracts because look, he's already now missed out on the potential of getting awards this year. And the best, and I think your head coach says it all the time: the best ability is availability, and that's the truth of anybody in any sport. If you're not available, you are useless to that team, regardless of what type of status you were. I mean, we talk about A-Rod for the Yankees for so many years. Yeah, was he great in his early years? Yeah, but he missed like 4 years, and they were paying him like what, $40 million a year, and he was in courtrooms most of the time that he was on the field. So it sucks because he was such a great superstar, but was not on the field. So it's just availability. If you're not there, you're useless. It's just like Joel Embiid, great player, should be in MVP conversations every single year. But after the antics he's pulling this year, I don't know what's going on with him, right? Mentally, he could be dealing with stuff off the court in his head that he's just not there. And that, I hope he can figure it out because you never want to see someone go through mental, issues or whatever is going on in his life, right? You don't know what's going on. Maybe the loss of his brother or something like that is still affecting him. But, you got to be available. You're getting paid $40 million, $50 million, $60 million, these multi-million dollars. You got to be available. I'm sorry.
Ironically, Mike, someone who shares almost the identical contract of Lauri Markkanen, Zion Williamson.
And he's barely there, and he's gaining weight again. That dude's gaining. I saw him the other day. He looked like a retired guy who just was done working out, done everything. Like it's sad at this point, to be honest with you. It really is sad because it's like you just don't care anymore. And if you don't, just retire.
He's $100 millionaire off his high school freaking highlights.
Correct. And him pushing a little kid around, like a little dude around. That's the only highlight I see nowadays is him pushing that dude around. Trader, what you got for this? Or did you already go?
No, I went the Carter one was fine.
No, I meant on Jay's.
Oh, no, I just did. Yeah,
okay, you did yours. Okay, so.
Yeah, I was saying Isaac is bad because of the availability, not bad when he actually plays. But
yeah, so as we kind of move forward with that, you got anything?
No, I said did Mike go on Jonathan Isaac?
Did you go?
No, but I pretty much agree in the sense of like, as you look at it comparatively to the way the rest of the NBA is trended contract-wise, it's not bad because I agree with John. It's comparable to what it used to be for like a $2 to $3 million player. The problem is the availability, and that is what makes this a bad deal, is that if I was a GM, looking at the scope of Isaac's unfortunate injury history and career so far, I would rather give that $14, $15 million to a different bench player that I know is going to play every night or that I can rely or is more reliable health-wise. Because coming out of FSU, I really liked Jonathan Isaac's game. He was long, he had height, he said he could check all 5 positions. He seemed to be at the time progressing well with his ability to score at different levels. Now, I think those missing almost, if not all of those 2 years, I think robbed him of some of that progression, some of that continued success as far as getting new tricks in his bag to score at all the levels. But he's still a great defender. It's just, if you're not going to be on the floor, I feel like it's a waste of money to pay you that much.
Yeah, I mean, any player. I mean, look at all. I think the common theme with a lot of these players that we see is they're a lot not on the field or court, and when they are, okay, they're pretty good, but they're not worth their contract. So, as we keep it rolling, guys, we got our final Cinco picks of the week. Let's get rolling on those. We got the NFL Sunday. We got a good slate of games coming up here. We have the Cardinals, speaking of Kyler, and versus the Vikings, where Danny Dimes is going to be there. Danny Dimes in purple. And the Chargers versus the Falcons. The 49ers versus the Bills in a snow day game. And then my Eagles versus the Ravens, the 2 best backs in the league playing against each other. Mike, Cardinals versus Vikings.
I will take Vikings 28, Cardinals 17.
I will take the Cardinals 28, the Vikings 14.
Hey, Mikey, And then one time, and then got down and down with that, but people eat them. Yeah.
Why?
We will take.
Why LSU though?
Why? There's no Louisiana here.
He's a purple people eater.
Who?
Donnie Dimes.
Justin
He's not
Jefferson.
even gonna
Justin
play.
Jefferson with the LSU. Justin Jefferson with the LSU.
Cardinals
That's all.
24, Vikings 23. And that is your lock of the week. Take the Cardinals to win straight up on the money line.
Okay, we got Vikings 24, Cardinals 23.
All right, we got the Chargers versus the Falcons.
Chargers 17, Falcons 6.
Chargers 28, Falcons 14 again.
Chargers 19, Falcons 17. Because they are cons.
Chargers 24, Falcons 23.
All right, we have the snow game. 49ers at Bills are supposed to be a whiteout snow game, kind of like it was a few years ago. I think in last year too, they got moved. So 49ers versus the Bills in Buffalo.
In Buffalo in the snow, Bills 31, San Francisco 10.
49ers 13, Bills 10.
Bills 31, 49ers 20.
Bills 23, 49ers 15.
And then my Birds versus the Dirty Birds and the Ravens. The Eagles versus the Ravens.
Eagles 21, Ravens 14.
Tush, push, baby, tush, push. Jalen Give won a touchdown. Stop. Then Saquon going in at the one. So the Eagles are going to win this game 42-21.
The Ravens have scored over 30 points against 4 of the best 6 defenses so far this year. I see it happening again. Ravens 33, Eagles 30.
Eagles 30, Ravens 24.
And that's our Cinco Picks of the week. We had 3 different segments in there. So let us know what you think. And, of course, we got a lock of the week for this guy. So lock it down. We got the Cardinals over the Vikings is your lock. Straight up. On the money line.
Take them to win.
Whatever that means. So, all right. Well, I know what's on the money line. I've been out of commission here the last 2 weeks, partying in New York, partying in LA with Juan Soto. I am exhausted, but I know these guys have been taking advantage of Stump the Squad. So let's get it rolling here, guys, for Stump the Squad.
Yeah, boy. All right. Squad is calls and Googles, everything in between. It is time for Stump the Squad. We want you to play along with us. So you got like, subscribe, click right down here, and you let us know if you beat us. Can't use your phone or laptop though. As you see, we got nothing in our hands, and we finally get to prove it in front of you guys right now. So -2 if you get it wrong. Give yourself +2 if you get it right. Get in those comment sections. Let us know you're smarter than the squad, or not, if you dare to tell us the truth. Mikey, tell us your fact. What is your question for us this week that may possibly stump us?
Okay, well, seeing as I need to win this week because I'm now down an extra point because I lost a win thanks to our bet last week.
Shit. I got to win more than you do.
I'm
down like 40.
Give me that dub, boy.
So, start off with, how old was McKenna Witham, the youngest athlete to ever sign an NIL deal, when she signed her deal? A, 12, B, 13, C, 14, or D, 15?
13.
12.
I don't know, my gut says 13. So I'm going to stick with that too. 13.
All right, this week I have successfully stumped Trey Day. It is 13.
Let's go.
Professional women's soccer player made her debut at 14. Simon Nike at 13.
All right. So, Jay, keep track of your scores. I'm not writing them down now.
I got 2. Trey got -2.
Mike's not on board yet.
No,
so who's
not
next?
on board yet. Trey, go over you.
Okay, let's take this to the gridiron. In the 1950 Ohio State versus Michigan game, called the Snow Bowl, how many punts did the teams combine for?
Oh, I know this one.
21, 24, 32, 45.
32.
32.
45.
Okay. We have a 32 for Mike, 32 for Jamie, and a 45 for John. Today, I have successfully stumped Jamie and Mike. The answer is 45.
It was wild.
Sounds like your kind of game, John.
No, it's not my type of game of points.
Yes, I did.
I like a defensive game. Defensive game. It's not that's just punt. That game was just like they were punting on like second down.
Well, since I'm the only one that watched that game, it was not sensational.
Yeah. Jamie was actually one of the guys shoveling.
He was on the 50-yard line. 50-yard line seats.
Yeah, he was the guy shoveling
$1,500
to try to
season
clear the
tickets.
field as much as we could.
All right, well, let me take this one. Speaking of, I'll go ahead because I'll take it on the gridiron.
Yeah.
Speaking of old school ways of shoveling the snow and getting it out of the way, I would like you guys to tell me what Lions Bears, as you guys know, one of the greatest Thanksgiving rivalries, and all the way back in 1869, Rutgers and Princeton played the first Thanksgiving game. But can you guys tell me this year's Lions and Bears game on Thanksgiving would commemorate how many years since their first game played on Thanksgiving? Is it 75, 80, 85, or 90? What does this year's edition of Lions Bears, not
Four
only
options
played this consecutive amount of times, but from the first time they ever played on Thanksgiving to now, what was the time gap in between? 75,
What was our options?
80, 85, or 90 years?
75. 75 years.
75 for John.
85.
85 was my answer. Yeah.
85?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped the squad.
90.
90.
The answer is 90. 1934 was the first time the Lions and the Bears played on Thanksgiving Day.
All right, so now we have the scores. I have 2. Jamie has 0. Mike has -4.
I'm out.
Oh,
And Trey Day has how many?
-4.
-4. So it's down to Jamie and myself, and it's my question. So speaking of Dan Hurley getting a notorious ejection to lose the game for his UConn Huskies, who leads the most average technical fouls in the NBA this season?
Not Rasheed Wallace.
Is it Miami, Chicago, the Clippers, or Phoenix?
Oh, what was the 4 options again?
Miami, Chicago, Clippers, or Phoenix?
Who Pat Beverly playing for right now?
He's like Japan. He's like Japan or China right now. Miami.
Trey says Miami.
Miami, the Clippers,
Chicago, or Phoenix? Average tech they lead in.
Phoenix.
Mike says Phoenix.
Yep.
Clippers.
Guys, today I have successfully stumped Mike and Jamie. It is the Miami Heat, and look who comes back on a victory. I needed a couple weeks back, baby. Let's go. Brings my victories to 2. I don't know the rest of the scores, but we'll update you in the scoreboard. But
it was a charity win.
What's
that?
that?
Was a charity win, Zeke, that was a charity win for him. That was the only win he's getting this week. You're right, Zeke. Zeke said that's the only win you're getting this week.
It's gonna be funny when you have that apology letter and you guys are sitting at home next to us,
Yeah.
playing in the Cactus Bowl.
Apology posted.
Enjoy that Cactus Bowl with us. Maybe we'll play in the Rose Bowl together, or the Cactus Bowl together, Cheez-It Bowl. We'll go together. Go get some Cheez-Its. I'll be playing the Pop-Tart Bowl. I would love to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. They have Pop-Tart vending machines there. So
they should have Michigan play Florida in the Pop-Tart Bowl, actually. That'd be a good matchup.
All right, fellas. So I win Stump the Squad, episode 139. We have Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a safe and great holiday. It is going to be fun-filled through the weekend with football. a lot of basketball, a lot of college basketball, and hockey, of course. Us three all went to a game for a first Lightning game together, so that was pretty fun last Saturday night. But make sure you guys tune into the socials at Cinco Squad Pod 05. We'll see you guys here next week for episode 140. Cinco Squad out.
Give thanks to all you guys out there.